Welcome to Top 30. I'm Kristen Smith.
And I'm Alex Michelson. Here are your top 30 stories in 30 minutes. Holiday travel this year is expected to hit a new record. A new report says that 51 million Americans will be flying in the space of just 3 weeks between December 15th and January 4th. That's up 3.5% from last year, which had been an all-time high. That will mean longer lines, but carriers hope to avoid bumping passengers. Airlines are adding more seats on larger planes or additional flights to try to meet that demand. Economists with the trade group Airlines for America said that the increase was due to an improving economy and airfares that are rising slower than inflation. The group also listed the days when the airports will be the busiest. About 2.7 million people will board planes each day on December 21st, 22nd, and 26th. The lightest days with just 2.25 million are December 16th, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve. Those are also the days that you're most likely to get deals if you haven't already bought those tickets yet. Experts recommend downloading your airline's app for any updates and, of course, getting to the airport early.
Time magazine announced its Person of the Year, and the winner wasn't one person. This year's winner, the Silence Breakers. Time says this recognizes all the women and men who came forward to report sexual misconduct and spur a worldwide discussion. The inside of the magazine features stories of numerous victims. The cover shows two celebrities, Ashley Judd, who spoke out against Harvey Weinstein, and Taylor Swift, who sued a radio DJ for groping her and won. Also featured are everyday people who spoke out. A woman who picked strawberries, the woman who created the original Me Too slogan in 1997, a former Uber engineer, and you also see a woman's arm on the right. This is a woman Time interviewed but is afraid to come forward and show her face. Time's editor-in-chief says the magazine is honoring individual acts of courage that ultimately became the movement it is today. This winter promises to slam the Midwest and East Coast in snow, and Minnesota got a bitter taste earlier this week. The State Patrol reports there were 665 car crashes statewide, with another 600 spinning off the road in just a 32-hour time span. Glassdoor has released their 2018 list of the best places to work, and not surprisingly, Facebook leads the pack. Consulting firms Bain and BCG took second and third. The popular West Coast burger joint In-N-Out came in fourth, while Google took fifth. Baby Asher was born deaf, but this heartwarming video captures the moment he's able to hear his family for the first time with the help of hearing aids.
Good job. Hi, Asher. Look at him, he never moves his head.
Asher. Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Baby Asher is just too cute.
Time now to go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with Nicole Petalides. And Nicole, I hear that there's some exciting news from the FDA.
That's right, Alex. The FDA has approved a new diabetes drug that reduces blood sugar levels and also helps with the weight loss. The once-a-week shot is for people with type 2 diabetes. At $676, the drug will cost about the same as competitors for a 4 to 6 week supply without insurance. Consumer Reports is saying that the iPhone 10 is not the best iPhone you can buy. Bad news if you have a tendency to drop things because it failed the publication's tumble test numerous times. Although the $1,000 model received top scores for its camera and its display, it was edged out by Apple's less expensive iPhone 8. Instagram is now letting users archive and highlight their favorite expired stories. This is similar to Snapchat's Memories feature, but Instagram lets you create a permanent home to keep old content. Aside from pinning your story to your profile for good, there will be no limit to how many stories you can create and save.
Sure, a lot of people are really going to like that, Nicole, but who would specifically benefit the most from this new feature?
Well, Alex, this could be good news for brands and celebrities because essentially it's a free way to promote campaigns or content that they want their followers to see. But considering the whole point of Instagram story was that it expired in 24 hours, we'll have to see how it does. More Top 30 when we return.
The International Olympic Committee isn't playing when it comes to doping, and they proved it by banning the country of Russia from competing in the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. This ruling comes as an unprecedented punishment for Russia, who attempted to pull off an elaborate doping scheme during the 2014 Games in Sochi. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Russian athletes who pass drug tests and are approved by a panel can compete in the Games, but under the title Olympic athlete from Russia, also known as OR. Under OR, Russian athletes who compete will not do so under the Russian flag, won't wear Russian uniforms, nor will the Russian anthem be played. Additionally, officials under the Russian Ministry of Sport will be barred from the Games.
Time for this week's Page 6 Fix with senior reporter Carlos Greer. Carlos, what's up?
Well, Kristen, from Bet to Britney, it feels like everyone had a birthday this week. Britney Spears came home to a romantic birthday surprise from boyfriend Sam Asghari, cupcakes and flowers. And Bette Midler turned 72 with a Broadway birthday, where her Hello Dolly co-star David Hyde Pierce surprised her with so much cake that they had enough for the entire audience. But some of your other favorites really went big for their parties, like Chrissy Teigen. She threw a retro-themed Pan Am birthday bash and partied with A-listers like Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian, and Kanye West. And over in Beverly Hills, Diddy threw DJ Khaled an Arabian Nights-themed bash with guests like Mary J. Blige and his co-star on The 4, Fergie. And last but not least, the Brooklyn Nets gave their former owner and birthday boy, Jay-Z, a one-of-a-kind cake paying homage to the rapper's career. And that's this week's Page 6 Fix. See you next time.
Thanks, Carlos. For more news and gossip, watch Page 6 TV weekdays. Check your local listings.
A landmark case for gay rights in America all started with a wedding cake. That case is now before the United States Supreme Court. It all began when Charles Craig and David Mullins tried to order a cake from Masterpiece Cake Shop in Denver, Colorado. When the shop's owner, Jack Phillips, learned that it was for a same-sex wedding, he told them, quote, "I'm sorry guys, I can't do that." The couple say they were discriminated against. Phillips says forcing him to make the cake would violate his First Amendment rights since he doesn't support gay marriage for religious reasons. In arguments this week, the Supreme Court was divided. A lawyer for Phillips argued that he's an artist and his cakes are a form of expression. But reliably liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, quote, "When have we ever given protection to a food?" Justice Anthony Kennedy could once again be the deciding vote on a gay rights issue as he was on the same-sex marriage issue in 2015. This week, he seemed to argue both sides. He asked a lawyer for Phillips, quote, "If you prevail and bakeries put signs in the window saying, 'We don't bake cakes for gay weddings,' wouldn't that be an affront to the gay community?" But Kennedy also criticized the Colorado court who ruled against Phillips because they didn't tolerate his views. The Supreme Court will issue a decision by June 2018.
If you made a purchase on Cyber Monday or anytime that week, you may get your item a little bit later than normal. UPS says it was overwhelmed by the number of deliveries and is warning people their package may arrive a couple days late. The world's largest package delivery company is working to catch up and is telling customers the delays won't impact Christmas week deliveries. One of the ways the company is ensuring those packages arrive on time is by having some drivers work 70-hour weeks. The union representing drivers says this move came without any notification and jeopardizes the safety of employees and the public. In some cities, drivers are planning demonstrations and threatening legal action if the hours aren't lowered. UPS said the schedule is in compliance with the Department of Transportation and employees are paid time and a half for working overtime. The company estimates it'll deliver 750 million packages worldwide between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and let's hope they all make it to their destination on time. Alex, I hear you have a story about an 81-year-old woman who made a new friend?
Yeah, that's right, Kristen. Playing words with friends can result in the unlikeliest of friendships. 22-year-old Spencer Sleon got matched with 81-year-old Rosalind Gutman, and one game led to another. 1 year and more than 300 games later, the two counted each other as friends. Sleon had said, "From day one, I knew I was playing an old white woman. She's hilarious and fabulous. She's like a character on the Golden Girls." And earlier this month, the aspiring rapper from Harlem flew more than 1,000 miles to Palm Beach, Florida, where Gutman lives in a retirement community. The two met in a hotel lobby where they embraced with a big hug. Sleon tweeted out photos that almost instantly went viral, and his post has already been liked more than 1 million times. So how many points for LOVE on Words with Friends?
Meet Naomi Cooten. She's a high school junior. She's also the strongest teenager in the world. At 16 years old, she's known as Supergirl. She squats 321 pounds and deadlifts 365 pounds. Even more incredible is Naomi's deceivingly wispy stature and lack of bulging muscles. We've got Naomi on the phone with us. You're already so accomplished, Naomi, but what do you want to be when you grow up?
Great question. Either a psychologist or an athletic trainer, I think.
According to the New York Times, Naomi was a karate standout as a child and often beat out the guys in push-up contests. So, Naomi, when people see you and then figure out the incredible things you do, what's their reaction?
They look me up and down and see that I'm small, and then kind of their jaw drops open and they're like, "What?"
Big things come in small packages, Naomi. Congratulations on your success, and thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Naomi's mind-blowing journey is part of a documentary aptly named Supergirl, airing on PBS later this month. I cannot wait to see what kind of superwoman this Supergirl turns out to be. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 29 Philadelphia, Newman University is helping their community dress for success. With over 80,000 donated items to choose from, the Leadership Wardrobes for Work program allows local residents to confidently appear for interviews.
We provide them with the opportunity to have 3 days worth of clothing for interviews, second interviews, and the first day of work, so that they have the opportunity to not have to worry about what an appropriate wardrobe would be.
Allowing everyone to dress for the job they want, free of charge. Our next story from Fox 10 Phoenix. 35-year-old Kevin Murray has Down syndrome and is unable to read or write. When his father fell off a ladder and broke his back, Kevin was the only one at home. But thanks to the United Cerebral Palsy of Central Arizona, he had learned to use a cell phone.
Because of the services he receives from UCP, he picked up that cell phone, he made that call, he knew it was an emergency, and he potentially saved his father's life.
Kevin proves there's a hero in all of us. Our final story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. Patients at St. Joseph's Children's Hospital were able to leave their rooms to enjoy a performance of the Nutcracker. The kids definitely seem to enjoy it.
It's good because they dance good and he do a good job.
It seems dancers from the Brandon Ballet benefited from it as well.
It felt great to just give back to the kids. Like, I've been there and I know what it's like.
Bringing some much needed holiday cheer to those who would otherwise miss out.
Scientists say there's a reason that mosquitoes are more likely to bite some people more than others. All warm-blooded animals have at least two things in common. Their blood offers nutrition for mosquitoes, and they exhale carbon dioxide. Now, it's the smell of that CO2 that attracts the insects from far away. Once they get up close, the mosquitoes get more selective based on how each person smells. One expert compared it to the way that different people prefer different foods and drinks. A mosquito specialist says, quote, research of lactic acid in sweat shows that it's a key mosquito attractant. But sweating less probably won't help people who find themselves surrounded by mosquitoes every summer. Humans have over 400 chemical compounds on their skin. Changing your scent would involve isolating and testing all of them. Some people believe changing your diet will make you less susceptible to getting bitten, but there's no actual science to back that up.
After leaving church, something inside Roy Aspinall made him keep talking to a man he'd bummed a cigarette from, and good thing he did, because that man is his long-lost brother. Aspinall, a former British soldier, says he became overwhelmed with emotion after realizing he found 28-year-old Billy White, who he last saw as an infant in a stroller. According to the BBC, Aspinall says, I was in tears when we worked it out. I rang my sister and said, I've got this man here, and he seems to have all the answers. The brothers share the same mother, Lorraine White, but an unfortunate feud in the family left Roy to be raised by an aunt. White says, this guy came over to me and was asking me lots of questions about my mom and my sister. He said, I'm your brother. I didn't believe him at first. The two have formed a quick bond, and Billy has moved in with Roy and his family. Together, they're healing old wounds.
It's no surprise that an Italian astronaut on the International Space Station for 100 days missed eating pizza. So when he happened to mention that to the crew on Earth, they took action. NASA surprised the astronaut and sent up ingredients to make a pizza during a delivery of supplies. crew of the International Space Station videotaped themselves creating their own pies using the delivered crust, pizza sauce, cheese, and toppings. And of course, making a pizza in zero gravity has its own challenges. Before they ate their tasty creations, they had to do one thing: fling them through the air and watch them slowly glide across the space station. That Italian astronaut who originally had the pizza craving won't have to wait much longer before he can eat real Italian cuisine. He's scheduled to land back on Earth on December 14th. Police in San Diego say they received 164 guns during a gun buyback program over the weekend. Now, here's what's interesting. The program was so successful, police actually ran out of the Walmart gift cards being traded for the weapons. San Diego Police Captain Alberto Leos says that the no questions asked exchange program went through $25,000 worth of gift cards. Because of this, officials ended up having to turn away people. According to the Union Tribune, handguns and rifles were swapped for $150 in gift cards, while the buyback price of assault weapons was $250. Leos said the department's last gun buyback program, conducted only a few months ago, only collected 47 guns.
Koala bears might be cute and cuddly, but the next time you see one, think twice about snapping that selfie. Instagram is adding content warnings to posts that have pictures of wildlife and certain hashtags. Users searching for terms like koala selfie will receive a message that says you are searching for a hashtag that may be associated with posts that encourage harmful behavior to animals or the environment. Instagram is trying to raise awareness of wildlife being exploited for tourism. The company collaborated with the World Wildlife Fund and World Animal Protection for the program. An investigation by National Geographic found that in places like Thailand and Indonesia, many animals are illegally captured and kept in cages until a tourist wants to take photos with them. Conservationists say that for animals like tigers, lions, koalas, and dolphins, being penned up and forced to snuggle with humans for photos is traumatic. A spokesperson for Instagram said, "I think it's important for the community right now to be more aware. We're trying to do our part to educate them." Instagram hasn't said which hashtags will trigger the warning, but the number is in the hundreds.
This week, Lamborghini unveiled what it says is the fastest SUV in the world. The Urus can go from 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 3.6 seconds. If you keep your foot down, it can hit 190 miles per hour. It goes on sale in the US next year for a starting price of just $200,000. Of course, Lamborghini is best known for making costly two-door supercars like the Aventador. Last year, they sold about 3,500 vehicles worldwide. The company hopes that the Urus will help them double that number. One analyst at the research firm Auto Pacific said, quote, "The appetite for ultra-luxury SUVs, especially in China, means that if you're not in the segment very soon, you may likely be left behind." Other luxury car makers have planned SUVs, including Aston Martin and Rolls-Royce. The Urus will eventually compete with another Italian SUV from Ferrari.
With the onslaught of allegations against men acting inappropriately against women, parents are being faced with having conversations with their kids about power, boundaries, and appropriate behavior. According to CNN, Trisha Ferrara, a licensed professional counselor and author of Parenting 2.0, says we need to be reinforcing boundaries within relationships, intimate, professional, and personal, and that power is not about dominating another person or threatening them for personal gain. She also says that technology makes these conversations more necessary because it magnifies the reach of predators. More importantly, these conversations don't need to focus on the harassment allegations being highlighted by the media. Teaching children about boundaries and how to identify abuses of power will help them not only identify when they're being violated, but also who to tell and what to do about it.
Canada has built multi-residential affordable housing apartments that are so green they cost just $30 to heat for the entire year. The energy-efficient 4-story building in Ottawa doesn't need furnaces or air conditioners for climate control, and they use 66% less energy. They're called passive houses. That's a term used for ultra-low energy buildings that reduce the ecological footprint. The nonprofit builders promise more comfortable apartments with extremely low utility bills for some of Canada's most vulnerable residents, like those with mental illnesses or the homeless. Residents living in the 42 apartments pay just $489 a month in rent, and that includes utilities. Now over to Kristen. Kristen, what's coming up on the next Top 30?
Well, Alex, we're talking about lowering your monthly bills. With 2018 coming up, many cable and internet customers will see higher bills as their first-year discounts expire. We'll tell you what to do. We go inside the Rwandan jungle where Diane Fossey helped save the mountain gorilla in our Nat Geo Minute. And we'll tell you why these two brothers are crying. Don't worry, it's a happy ending. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.